Good morning. It's been a rough morning. Didn't get started on at the time that I wanted to because for whatever reason I scheduled everything at I thought I scheduled this every day. I don't Sometimes things happen, but we'll get this party started. Let's get into the scriptures here. There's some of this stuff. There we go. Well, anyway, so we're talking about Moroni, the last book that he wrote. Um, and, and let me say this. I've said it on some other streams and stuff like that, but the Book of Mormon has the greatest power of convincing, uh, even more so about Jesus Christ, even more so than the Bible. Um, and you think about, I think people get hung up um, in in this idea that I'm good, and all I have to do because I'm good, that means that everybody else is going to follow suit, and therefore shouldn't be, you know, whatever convinced me of Jesus Christ is going to convince everybody else of Jesus Christ, and it's not always true. Obviously, uh, if you're a Jew or Muslim, it's not as easy of a bring my microphone down. I hope the audio was okay. Um, anyway, just in case, I'll restate it. The Book of Mormon has the power to be the convincing of the Jews and Gentiles more so than any other book that is offered. Um, it has the power to, uh, because of its position. Um, it is so demonized that all it takes is somebody be digging around in the earth and find those plates that were was buried. I mean, you still have the gold plates or the brass plates of Moses. We don't know where those are. Uh, there was so many plates that were buried. For whatever reason, my mind doesn't remember. Um, Father of Mormon. Let's see if we can find that real quick. Because that way, let's see here. Who is, let's see if we get Google do this. Who is the father of Mormon? All right. Yeah. Does it? Let's see here. Didn't work that way. Who is the father? Yeah. Who is the father of Mormon in the Book of Mormon?
According to Wikipedia, Joseph Smith Jr. was an American religious leader and the founder of Mormonism and the Latter-day Saint movement.
Sometimes Google doesn't understand. I guess we're going to have to go back to uh, we tried Google. You're not doing your job as accurately as I would hope. Let's go back to Mormon. Let's get here to the scriptures. Uh, It has just been one of them days. It is quite perplexing. Let's see, we go down to Mormon. That's where we might be able to find that information. Amron instructs Mormon concerning the records. Okay, Amron, oh, there it is, right there. Let's read that. Boy. It says, and now I, Mormon, make a record of the things which I have both seen and heard, and call it the Book of Mormon. And about the time that Amron hid up the records unto the Lord, he came unto me, I being about 10 years of age, and I began to be learned somewhat of after the manner of learning of my people. And Amram said unto me, I perceive that thou art a sober child, and art quick to observe. So Amram hides up plates. And that means that there's a whole pile of plates somewhere in the earth. Where they are, nobody knows. We just know that they're out there. And I don't want to just think that God is going to hear. I think God, it doesn't, it's not enough for God to present any evidence of anything. Because no matter how much physical evidence we have, let's say that we did find those plates that were, it would be called a hoax. It would be called, I mean, if the Latter-day Saint found those plates, it'd be like, see, they made these plates in their furnace and they preserved them over this many years and made sure they looked old and whatever, they whatever they could do to discredit. So it has to be something more than just physical evidence that will be the convincing of the people of this of the Book of Mormon. But that physical evidence, if it ever came about, and it could be authenticated by the world, it would be the most convincing instrument in God's hand to the convincing of the Jews and Gentiles, Muslims included, those who follow Buddha, those who follow Krishna, and many other gods in India. But I don't know if that's his purpose. I don't know. I think for those who believe already or would believe already, they don't need that kind of physical evidence to be convinced the Book of Mormon is true. Because I think for me, there's so much evidence of the Book of Mormon that, I mean, you've got Nahum, You've got the Bountiful where they build the ships, place down in southern Saudi Arabian desert. You have all the heartland artifacts that are being found, and the study there, um, or even in Mesoamerica, there's plenty of stuff down there. I mean, they came to the Americas. We know that there was people in the Americas before Columbus. So, I mean, they say that they came over the Bering Straits, but that's not the only mode of transportation or the only way that they came over. They talk about the Phoenicians and many others, and there's enough evidence in the Americas, North America especially, that shows that there was a people that was connected to the timeline, which the Book of Mormon is read or it elaborates on, and that's the Hopewell Indians. So there's evidence. The DNA is starting to show up. It's just all the anachronisms that once were anachronisms, now they're finding out that that there's evidence of those items that are mentioned in the Book of Mormon. That actually, I mean, we got mammoths that are in the just 20 miles north of me, or less than 20 miles, 10 miles north of me, which are elephants, which is something mentioned in Ether. And you got horse bones that are popping up that are dating at the time of the Book of Mormon. And so there's enough evidence, but still, that's not the only, but that's for those who are already going to believe. What substantiates what I gotta watch time. I gotta be out of here. I gotta unfortunately I got started late, but now I've got to make sure that I get to work on time. Anyway, let's go through what the commentary of the Book of Mormon outline is for a bit, and it opens up. The Book of Mormon opens with Nephi's promise to show us that the tender mercies of the Lord are over all those whom He hath chosen because of their faith. And they go to Nephi chapter 1, verse 20. First Nephi chapter 1, verse 20. And when the Jews heard these things, they were angry with him, yea, even as with the prophet of old, whom they had cast out and stoned and slain. And they also sought his life, that they might take it away. But behold, I, Nephi, will show unto you that the tender mercies of the Lord are over all those whom he hath chosen, because of their faith, to make them mighty even unto the power of deliverance. Again, but you know, we're talking about his father who was going to be stoned, and then Nephi is, what would you say, reflecting again. He's not writing it. He's not writing these down as they take place. He's going back when he's old and he's starting to write from memory, but and influenced by the Holy Spirit, of course, that the Lord loved his people so much that he took a group out of Jerusalem and sent them to a place where they could be another instrument in his hand to the convincing of the Jews and Gentiles. And that's why the Book of Mormon is given to us. It's I mean, I think about Joseph Smith, and I'm like, if you want to create a another religion, you didn't have to go through all these extremes to make this come true, or to create another religion, which would, I mean, if he's so he's able to drug these people that believed, and he's able to hypnotize them. He's able to do all these wonderful, all these things, and I'm trying to figure out why. What was the purpose of writing so much? What was the purpose of? I know there was other restoration movements at the time, but they were. I mean, this is elaborate. What is going on here? The Book of Mormon itself is a task that is unparalleled by many writers. Um, the, the Doctrine and Covenants, and all these things that were the Pearl of Great Price, and all these things that are he produces, and then the movement of people from one city to another being hated and murdered, and and just eventually driven out of the United States. What kind of religious leader would want to put themselves in peril like that? Even it just it uh, doesn't make any sense, to say the least. So there's something more to this movement than just a man's desire for women, as people would say, or money. There's just too much involved. And so, anyway, so the Book of Mormon seems to be rooted in something more than just a man's fantasy or men's fantasy. It goes way beyond that. The Book of Mormon closes with a parallel invitation from Moroni. Remember how merciful the Lord hath been. And we'll go to Moroni 10:2-3. Let's see here. All right. So it says right here, and I seal up these records after I have spoken a few words by way of exhortation unto you. Behold, I would exhort you that when ye shall read these things, if it be wisdom in God. I think that's important. That's the most important part of this. The the fact that it is not it is not a declaration of absolute. God has his free agency in this conversation, in this quote, because some people would say, well, you just read these things and all of a sudden it's going to be laid out to you. No, God's free will is still there. He still looks uh, for purpose, and what advantages it's going to be for all included. It's not just we read these things and then you receive, and then read these things, then all of a sudden magically you're going to receive the manifestation of the Spirit that validates the writings of the Book of Mormon. I mean, I had personal witnesses of the validity of Joseph Smith, but a real firm validation of the Holy Spirit to confirm the Book of Mormon. It seemed like it was 20 years. I said 15 before, but I think it was more like 20 years that I really had a absolute knowledge that the Book of Mormon was true by the Spirit. I knew that the Book of Mormon was true because of Joseph Smith, but the Book of Mormon in itself wasn't, the Spirit wasn't rendering up to lock me in on the Book of Mormon. But I knew it was true, but you know, but not like that. Not in that knowledge. You couldn't pry it out of my dead hands as far as the authenticity of what is written in its pages. And so I'm going to read that again. And I seal up these records after I have spoken a few words by way of exhortation unto you. Behold, I would exhort you that when ye shall read these things, if it be wisdom in God, remember, if it be wisdom in God, you'll read these things, that ye should read them, that ye would remember how merciful the Lord hath been unto the children of men from the creation of Adam, even down until the time that ye shall receive these things and ponder in your hearts. So again, you read them, and it's upon the person who is taking time to seek after God through the pages of the Book of Mormon. And I think that's important, that we seek after God in the pages of the Book of Mormon. Because if you're just seeking after whether the book is true or not, the book is true because it talks about Jesus Christ. It quotes a lot of the Isaiah and the Sermon on the Mount. There's enough truth in there that you cannot just say it's not true. Some people try to convince us that the book plagiarizes the Bible, but then they say that it contradicts the Bible. Oh boy, you're trying to. I mean, the same person says that, and you're like, that doesn't work, because again, it's all about interpretation. And when we interpret the scriptures, when we look at the Book of Mormon, we can interpret it in such a way that it is in line with the Bible and vice versa. So that idea of, well, it's contradict. It doesn't contradict. It is right in line with the Bible. But let's go. So I'm just saying that. So when you read the Book of Mormon, I think if you're looking for God in the Book of Mormon, a relationship, a deep relationship with God in the Book of Mormon, I think that makes it a lot a path that is easier to understand if it's true or not. But anyway, what examples of the Lord's mercy have you seen in the Book of Mormon? Wow. The people of Ammon, the Lamanites, who leader Lamoni, and then his dad laying down their weapons of war, and and then all they go out and they are willing to die for this newfound relationship in God that they have, and the way they were slaughtered. I mean, but God loved them enough, no matter what their atrocities, and the people that were going through and slaughtering the Ammonites, as we call them, the people of Ammon, they were converted, and they had just killed many of the changed people. But yet God loved them enough, even with their murderous ways, that He was willing to to sacrifice even for them and to love them and embrace them. That's pretty deep love from God for his people. And for myself, I mean, the Book of Mormon took me out of a place of despair and it brought me some hope whenever I was going through my divorce. And there's been times that it has before, and since then. You might think of the merciful way God led Lehi's family through the wilderness and across the great waters. That's one of them. Yeah, of course. Here, Lehi and his family. And it's the only way that, again, I, if you think about that statement um, that Jesus makes, he says that he says that a prophet is not accepted in his own place. And you think about that idea. Here you have Joseph Smith, who's the proclaimed prophet of the Restoration. He's not a Jew. They say he's of the tribe of Ephraim, but either way, he's not in the land of Israel, where all the prophets had once lived, or in the Middle East, that is, because prophets came from Egypt and other places, but he's not a prophet from their own land. He's completely separated. You know that we have an institute over there, BYU Institute in Jerusalem, and we don't proselyte over there at all. And we do not. What would you say? We don't. When if somebody asks for a Book of Mormon, we don't give it to them over there. So again, we have our intentions over there are honorable. Holy smokes! Anyway, I got this microphone in front of me. I hope the audio is okay because my camera should have picked it up. It looks like it's doing just fine. But anyway, it's what happens when you got to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Nothing works right, or 4 o'clock in the morning. Nothing works right. But anyway, we if the Jews were ever to really have an opportunity to hear about the story of Joseph Smith and have the Book of Mormon in their hands, and I say that there's no boundaries on how many of those would be converted to Jesus Christ, because again, they are uh, they believed in prophets, and they still believe in a prophet. They just haven't seen one for a long time for themselves. So anyway, just an idea. We'll get more into this tomorrow. Hopefully, I can. Uh, it'll be at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and you guys have a great night. And for the love of God, pray always and pray often. Have a great